This podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology.
Okay, let's get into this.
We aren't just talking about, counting your steps today. We're talking about having actual medical-grade heart monitoring technology strapped right to your wrist.
It's a huge shift.
Yeah.
I mean, this used to mean a hospital visit, sticky wires, the whole thing.
And now it's just there on an Apple Watch or a Galaxy Watch.
Exactly. But the Senior Techie really emphasizes that the point here isn't just to own a flashy gadget.
Right.
It's about demystifying this tech. We're talking about the ECG apps so that seniors can actually use them to potentially save their lives and not feel so overwhelmed.
Okay, so let's strip it down then. We hear ECG or sometimes EKG. What are we actually looking at?
Well, think of it like your heart's electrical conversation. The ECG measures the pulses that make your heart beat.
Okay.
It's basically checking if the upper and lower chambers are synchronized. That's what's called a sinus rhythm.
And if they're not?
If they're out of sync, that could be atrial fibrillation or AFib for short.
And the simplicity is really the key here. No gels, no wires. On an Apple Watch, you just hold your finger on the little dial, the digital crown.
For 30 seconds, yep. Or if you have a device like CardioMobile, you just place your fingers right on the sensor pad. You're literally completing an electrical circuit with your own body.
But wait, I'm not walking around with the finger on the watch all day, so how does it catch something if I'm just, sleeping or at the grocery store?
That's a great question, and it's a crucial distinction the Senior Techie makes. The watch actually switches methods.
It does.
Yes. When you're not actively taking a reading, it uses an optical sensor. That's the little green flashing light on the back.
Ah, I've seen that.
It's checking your pulse flow passively in the background. It's not happening 24/7, mind you, or your battery would die by lunch.
Of course.
But if that optical sensor spots something irregular, then it prompts you to do the active electrical test.
And for seniors, that little prompt is a really big deal.
It is. The Senior Techie shared a story about a 70-year-old man whose home monitoring actually detected coronary artery disease. And it was early enough for him to get treatment.
Wow.
That's the why behind all this. AFib is a major, major risk for stroke in older adults. Catching it early can change everything.
The Senior Techie used this brilliant analogy that really made it click for me.
No.
It said to treat these devices like a smoke detector, not a fire extinguisher.
That's perfect. Yes. A smoke detector alerts you to a potential problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't diagnose the fire, and it certainly can't put it out.
It's just a signal to go get a professional.
Exactly.
So speaking of professionals, what happens after you get that alert? I know you can export these readings as a PDF, which is amazing.
You can, and just email it to your doctor.
But the notes also mention apps like Collie or CardiaCare that analyze, let me get this right, PR and QRS intervals. That sounds like complete alphabet soup to me.
It sounds intimidating, but it's actually not that complex. Think of those intervals as just a stopwatch for your heart's electricity.
Okay, stopwatch.
The PR and QRS just measure how fast the signal is traveling through different parts of the heart. It helps a doctor tell the difference between maybe a harmless flutter and a more serious issue.
That makes sense. But we have to do a serious reality check here. The Senior Techie is very, very clear about what this technology cannot do.
This is maybe the most important part of our conversation.
I agree.
These devices cannot detect a heart attack. They cannot detect blood clots or strokes.
Yeah.
If you have chest pain, shortness of breath, sudden weakness, do not check your watch.
Call 911.
Call 911. The watch is for rhythm, not for a heart attack.
So for getting that rhythm reading right, are there any tips?
There are. The watch has to be snug, not loose. And
Yeah.
you really need to be sitting still with your arms resting on a flat surface, like a table.
And when should you check? Just when you feel palpitations or dizzy?
Definitely then, yes. But the Senior Techie also suggests taking what they call baseline readings.
When you feel totally normal.
Exactly. That way your doctor has a picture of your normal to compare it against if things feel off later.
It really makes you think, though. If our watches are becoming this first line of defense, how long is it until our doctors are the ones calling us because they got a notification before we even felt a symptom?
That is a fascinating future to consider.
This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to keep up with their newsletters, you can subscribe for free by going to theseniortechie.com.
That's TheSeniortechie.com.